another week in the books, and Norm's going to wrap it up. I'm promoting you to panelist, Norm. So let me unmute you. And we should hear you.
You are unmuted by a host.
You're unmuted, so now you just...
I stopped sharing, Coach, so
Okay.
he can start sharing whenever he wants.
Yeah, so you just move your mouse down near, I think it'll probably be near the bottom, and you'll see something that says share, and you click it.
All right, start video, participants,
share.
QBA, share. It's like a little
share, yeah.
Right there.
Okay, and then click there. Okay.
Got
and
it.
let me...
Coach,
yeah.
We have a friend asking about the Kiwi yen. I did cover the Kiwi yen, so go ahead and check the video once we post it. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, Coach.
Okay,
Bye-bye,
you too,
guys.
buddy. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Norm.
Okay, can you see my notes?
Can see your notes, can see the top of the S&P chart.
Okay, I'm Norm Winski. Might want to, were you going to introduce me, Dale?
You are such a regular that your reputation precedes you, but for people that do not know Norm, he does a lot of work with the planets. One of the masters of some of the work of the masters, and you could learn from him. He does teach, and he's going to go over a little history here of what he said, and then a little bit of the future of what might happen. So, used to be a trader on the floor, used to bet on horses, and now the horse that he's betting on is himself.
Okay. I have over 50 years of market experience. I started studying the markets.
And he's old.
Yeah. I started studying the markets when I was 15. I'm 68 now.
Okay.
So I'm an old dinosaur like Dale. Thanks for having me on your show, Dale.
I'm a T-Rex. You're a Brontosaurus. Go ahead, buddy.
Alrighty. So anyway, I just thought I'd go back to the end of May there, show you some interesting stuff, and see how it worked out. And then by studying past patterns, we may be able to make some money in the future. The past is prelude to the future, and also I like to show you things, teach you things that, study these patterns, so that rather than just giving you a fish like the Chinese proverb, hopefully I'm going to teach you how to fish, teach you some things that you can use to possibly help you make some money in the future.
Stop baiting us.
Well, there you go. That's the end of my line there, Dale.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm hooked now.
Okay. All right. Another Polish joke, right? Okay.
Hooked? No.
All right. There we go. We got 4 events that occurred toward the end of May, early June. That's what we're going to be looking at. We had there's something called a natal chart. We take a snapshot of the planets for beginning of some event, like when you were born or when a country begins. And I study the natal chart for the U.S., July the 4th, 1776. And when the planets line up, that can create a important change and trend point in the markets. So we had Jupiter 180 degrees. So where Mars was on July the 4th, 1776, we'll be watching for a major change in trend for stocks, T-bonds, and dollar. We also had, this is May 29 AC, means really the 30th. It's something that happened overnight after the close of the 29th. Same thing here. And we had Saturn lining up with Pluto and Capricorn. So we'll be watching cocoa, coffee, hogs, stocks, and T-bonds. And then we'll be the early wee hours of Monday, June 3rd. That was over the May 31 weekend. We had a new moon in Gemini. And that's always good for your financial gains and precious metals. And then on the morning of the 4th, that was a Tuesday, from the point of view of the sun, that's heliocentric. Mars entered the sign Leo. We'll be looking at Leo has to do with corn, gold, and OJ. So then now let's go look at the charts. Here's the S&P. We had the 30th, basically, for those 2 points for the stock market. And we had a little bounce top there, as you see on the chart. with the green arrows, and that worked out nicely. Green arrows mean you had a chance to make some money. If it's a red arrow, it didn't. It was not effective. So you had the two green arrows there. Then we went down to the low on the 3rd, Monday the 3rd, and that was an amazing reversal we had there. The market was going down, 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 and it reversed on Monday the 3rd with the new moon. And then you know what's happened. We had a huge rally here since into about the 10th, 11th of June, and there we go. Here's your T bonds. Nailed the. Let's see. They had kind of a mixed picture here on the our 30th date. So I put both a red and a green one there, sort of half and half, kind of small, small amount of effectiveness there, but it did give you a small chance to make some money. But on the new moon, it nailed a beautiful top there for a short-term top. Here's your dollar coming up. I know everybody in your room here, Dale, likes to follow the currencies. There you go. There's one day. We're one day off the new moon there on the dollar. I think 1 or 2 did. No, I take that back. Let's see. No, that's our 30th date. That's the 30th date. New moon is over here, and the dollar ignored the new moon pretty much. It just came down and then went lower. So we went 50-50 on those 2 dates for the dollar. Here's your cocoa. That cocoa worked for the 30th. We were one day off the top there on the 29th and still within range. So if you sold it there, you would not given up very much. And then the cocoa that dropped. That's about I think a $1,300 drop there on your cocoa. Here's your
When
coffee.
Would be your next turn date for bonds? Because I'm looking for another high. Do you have a turn date coming up?
Oh, we're going to get to that. We got the full moon coming up early Monday morning, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. We'll get to the future in just a few minutes. So here's the coffee, not effective. You got your red arrow there. And now we're going to go ahead to take a look at hogs. There's a nice little topping area there, 28, 29, 30. Made a little top there, and then down we went. And then looks like the hogs are still looking for a trough there, Dale. Has a little hog humor there, Dale. Okay, here's your euro. The currencies look like they were about 1 day off on the moon. They made their low like a day. There's a 30th, there's a 31st, and then the euro took off there on the new moon day. And there's your British pound. It was right there's a day late, but you're within range of the low day there, and mostly within range of the day for the British pound. There's June, the first trading day of June was Monday the 3rd when they had the new moon. Here's your yen. The yen is probably historically the best currency for following the moon. The yen loves the dance to the moon, and there it nailed that little short-term top there, where one day, I think it may have gone a few ticks higher the next day, and then that was it. Okay. Here's your corn. Corn, we had 2 dates for corn. We had the new moon, and then we had Mars going into Leo. And you see there that we're close to the top on the new moon and nailed the top there the next day when Mars went into Leo. There we go. And then here's your oats. Nobody trades oats. 2 horses in Colorado trade oats, but we follow oats because if you trade grains, I was told a long time ago, I was trading mostly at the CBO, but I also traded on the border trade. I was in the border trade building for many years and met a lot of grain traders. And somebody told me that the oats were a leading indicator, as you will soon see, because they often are ahead of the other grains. I don't know why.
Mares eat oats and does eat oats.
And little lambs eat ivy.
Yeah, they don't eat oats.
I'm going to have to write that
I only
down.
included the 2 that
Okay. Here's you go. The oats nailed, had a nice stop there right on the new moon. But here's what's interesting about as a leading indicator. The oats made their low in early May. All the others were about a week later.
That's a pearl.
What's that?
That's a pearl.
Yeah.
For grain traders to, even if you don't trade oats, to pay attention to them because
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Here's your beans. They topped right. Well, they had either day of the new moon day was a high day there. You're just a few pennies off the high there on the new moon. And there you go. Here's your wheat. Wheat is just a few pennies and a day ahead of the high there for the wheat. And now we're going to talk about our Leo markets, which we already looked at corn, but the other two are OJ, which is another thin market. Don't trade it. But it's every now and then if something extraordinary happens, you might want to take a look.
You ever trade the breakfast spread in the old days?
Now, what is the use? What did you use back for the old days?
OJ,
Bellies, right?
eggs and bellies. Yeah.
There you go. But those are all really, no, pork bellies don't even exist anymore, you know?
Well, they exist. They're just not a
What's that?
futures contract. They exist. Pigs still have bellies. They exist.
Well,
they
true,
just don't trade them.
They got rid of those crazy pork belly futures. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, you see there right on the 4th, that's when Mars went into Leo. And guess what? That was a high. That nailed it. Gold was one day later, and that made a little short-term top there. In fact, we poked out over that top there, or right just above that, is kind of a longer-term bullish signal. Near term, though, because we have a full moon coming up Monday morning, we could be getting near a short-term top in the gold. All these, many of these markets that are at near the top of their range or channel, or if you're at the bottom of their channel, they all be subject to possible reversals here when we get to Monday. All right, here's what's coming up in the future, Dale. We have a big cluster of stuff happening this weekend, 14th after the close. That's this weekend. And we're going to be looking at the U.S. Let's see. No, take it back. This is Jupiter to the moon's north node. So we'll be looking at the oat, silver stocks. And we have Jupiter, to Neptune. And that's going to be your oil. There's a theme here now, I think, coming up. And then here's U.S. That's going to be stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar.
Okay.
We have another thing coming here. Oh, there you go. There's Neptune and Pisces with the moon's north node. There's another oil thing. And the stocks to respond to all this stuff. The stocks is a big basket of everything.
6/14 is today.
Yeah, and this is after today's close, so over the weekend.
Okay.
All these things are happening this weekend. It's a huge weekend for the planets, you know.
Yeah.
Then the planets are going to kind of, with the
take the weekend off.
Take the week off after Monday. There's not a lot going on until you get to the 20th, and that's one of my top things, right at the top of my totem pole.
Is it because it's near the equinox?
No, I'm going to tell you now, because
I mean the solstice.
What's that again?
The summer solstice.
No, I'm going to talk about Neptune turning retrograde, and anytime the planets turn direct or retrograde, that's to a shift relative to the Earth's motion. Then you get a change in trend with whatever market is associated with that planet, and particularly the so-called outer planets, those are the big long-term ones, Jupiter on out. Those are even more powerful. And we've got Neptune, they're going to turn retrograde, and that's the main thing there is oil. Okay? So, I don't know, I have oats there. And then we have let's see, then we have something big with the U.S. Around the 21st, which will be the summer solstice that you just mentioned. It lines up with one day of Neptune turning retrograde, and we're going to have some big news possibly with the U.S. there, particularly with the maybe President Trump might make a big announcement around then, and that might affect U.S. oil. And then you have the moon's north node in silver lined up with Saturn and Capricorn. We're going to look at the coffee, silver stocks. And then after the close of the 21st, that'll be over weekend. My other top thing is Mercury when the planets get to zero latitude. And then you want to look at your grains. And again, it's stocks. That's going to be, and again, Mercury at zero latitude right there I take it back. The 26th after the close is Mercury at zero south latitude. That's your greens. This is also important, the green point here at the 21st, right on the solstice, you know. All right, well, that's your future points. You write them down or get a hold of me, and we can go over them, or perhaps I could send you a copy. Here's the only charts we did not cover. Here's your silver. That's been going up with the gold, and it's getting close to the top of this resistance level here. So silver, the silvery moon, the silver might be turning on Monday. Here's your oil. We're not going to really be looking at the major point coming in oil is when Neptune turns retrograde. That's going to be the top one of the month, possibly of the month, around the 20th, 21st. And right now it's kind of had a little bounce and kind of in the middle of that little trading range there. So,
you have any war cycles coming up with what's happening in the Middle East right here?
I have to go back and look. That'd be a U.S. thing. And we have, I think we had something. Let's see, you had to scan that. There we go. Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah.
It has to get
U.S. military you have.
Right.
Okay.
Something to deal with some kind of confrontation. There could be some confrontation.
Interesting. Okay.
Later on, we might come out okay on that when we get around the 21st. We have some really positive cycles in about a week from now.
Okay.
So that might get resolved.
Good stuff.
What's that?
Good stuff, Norm.
What's what?
Good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so there we go. Now we're getting to the end. We got the free stuff. If you contact me, you can get a class. I also have, I didn't talk about it, but I also have a day trading system with a day trading class that I do in about 30 minutes. I'll teach you we forecast the markets down to the minute, S&P, mostly S&P, S&P E-mini. By the way, if you're trading that, today's rollover day, you need to go to September if you're trading any U.S. stock index futures, So anyway, contact me. I have, like I said, over 50 years experience, 12 years a Chicago floor trader. So I have a little bit of experience, and I'll show you some more of this. And you can get my deluxe class. You can get basically a trader's education, college education, in about 5 to 6 hours. So I teach again, Astro, advanced Fibonacci, fractals, all the advanced technical analysis you can imagine. And I keep things real simple. Nothing I'm doing, everything I'm doing looks complicated. But after you scratch under the surface, you'll find nothing I do is beyond a fifth grader. You don't have to be smarter than a fifth grader to do any of this. If we had to do that, then I couldn't do it. I'm not that smart.
So if you have an interest in the fact that, perhaps, which people have for thousands of years, believe that the planets have an influence on human behavior, financial markets behavior, to take a free class with a guy like Norm is really a privilege. So thank you very much, Norm. Have a great weekend, my trading warrior brother. And I'm sure I'll be hearing from you shortly.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me on your show there, Dale. And want to wish everybody a good trading day and a great weekend.
Okay, and Norm.
Please call me right away.
Okay, Norm. And that's a wrap for us here in F.A.C.E, everyone. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. You could take a screenshot of Norm here and how you could contact him. You're very welcome, Rose. You may want to get a hold of Norm and learn about these retrogrades. I'm going to be paying attention to these dates. They're not triggers to me, but they make me aware of what could happen. So everyone have a great weekend. And I'm just going to end the meeting here. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see you all on Monday. Adios. Thanks again, Norm.
Thank you.